Good morning. Yeah, I hope that you are enjoying the start to February. And I wanted to share a message today of awe and inspiration and gratitude about the power of dedication and commitment, and in particular, the kind of community, the kind of energetic community that really allows that to pay off. You know, I grew up as someone who was quite a perfectionist. I had to break a lot of those habits as an adult. And there's a way of like applying effort and discipline in ways that were sort of self-harming and led to a lot of burnout. And so when it came time for me to learn how to apply effort again in recovery from my illness and also from healing complex trauma and PTSD and other things, I had this natural like aversion to it because I associated it with the way that I overdid and overgave and more like codependency habits, and just was like, no, like I don't want to have to make an effort to do anything ever again. And my burnout was extreme. I mean, to the point that I had fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, and something as simple as walking to the mailbox or standing up for a few minutes to try to get something to eat was enough to like knock me out because of the extreme situation that I was in, with my energy being and my cells being in survival mode, um, and switching to a different cycle in the way that they were operating in the world that was not conducive to regenerating and building, and recovering. And in the work that I do and the nervous system sync, there's so much to say about stopping and resting and pausing and being. And honestly, that's what most of us need. And there's this other part too. Um, And it's important to plant it as a seed, even if it is not the part of the journey where you at. Most people are at the part of the journey where they need to pause and just stop and be. And even if that is the case, there's a discipline and an effort required to changing that habit. Anytime we change a habit, even in the direction of more ease, there's some effort. And so it does overlap. And even when we get to the point in our life where we are feeling refreshed and aligned, and our energy is building and wanting to do more and to do in the world, it's important that we establish this relationship with effort and doing and commitment and discipline that's really friendly and pleasurable and warm and doesn't feel like a burden and doesn't feel like we're having to follow someone's rules, but there's actually like this very empowering, strengthening, and fortifying experience that we are choosing from the inside, that can obviously be modified and balanced with flexibility and the feminine principles. But this is also a part of reworking our unhealthy relationships with patriarchy, with any kind of control or domination or abuse we've experienced, or injury, or the ways that we've been confined due to trauma, illness, or whatever life circumstances are causing us to feel very trapped. So, there's a lot more I could say on that. But I think today I'll just share that for me, a huge part of what helped me with this was to invest in communities that were extremely supportive and that they had the right amount of care. So there was still attunement and heart, but also discipline and encouragement to accelerate my excitement and elevate my sense of possibility and agency to try new things, to try hard things, and to repeatedly do those hard things until they became actually easy to the point where now I can do a lot of the things that I was encouraged to do without needing that constant, like daily or weekly reminder. But it took months and months of being, and I'm still probably for the rest of my life always going to be in communities like that, that sometimes they evolve. Like after a year in the community that supported me to change my microbiome diet, I entered another community that helped me to stick with it as I was retracing the patterns of illness and trauma that were moving out through my body as I was rebalancing my foundational minerals. And I joined another community that was doing somatics and the nervous system work that I trained in for 5 years in a more feminine way with different people who were doing it in a way that was more aligned with what my being was asking for, continuing my training with a different community. And then in another community also in which I could practice um, meditation in a way that combined what I was already doing with some new principles. And and it wasn't even that I was learning something new, but that it was every week I knew that I would sit down for an hour with a group of people around the world and and I would have my practice supported. So there are times where this helps with actually getting started on a practice, and then there are times where we already have one, and it just flourishes and grows and becomes richer um, in community. And there's a next level of evolution that happens when we can share with the resonant community the work that we're doing. So and I shared already in last week's video, I'm joining a new community this year of wellness professionals who are mentoring and supporting and encouraging me as I up-level my business into the next stage, moving from private practice to doing a private membership community. I've chosen the number, it'll be 12 people. And we are going to go on a journey around the seasonal wheel, and we're going to incorporate mm, both the somatic and deep nervous system work that I do with my private clients, and private work will be included in the group. There'll be more information if you want to learn. Just let me know. I have all that information for you coming up, but. Um, it will also combine the rewilding practices as optional practices for people to try to also support their actual bodily thriving, their bodily experience um, in tandem with the subtle body, the somatic, and the nervous system work, so that there could be even more traction and like deep, really root level change. And I'm really excited for it. It's going to be for those people who are really in it for the long haul and ready to commit to something that's going to be a community that will really shift these deep things. And so um, I'm so excited. And this week, I'm wishing that you find your next level of supportive community space that can meet you right at your perfect edge for that perfect combination of feeling met, seen, heard, and a sense of belonging, as well as a sense of encouragement to up your game in the way that is just right for you and just the right amount of excitement that feels pleasurable. Okay, take care until next week.